News Talk 820 WBAP, Ernie Brown along with Monty Cook in for Hal J. Rob Crain joins us. He is a nationally renowned injury attorney, personal injury attorney. He's also been included in lists such as the U.S. News Best Lawyers in America, and he's the former president of the Dallas Bar Association. We want to talk to Rob about Alec Baldwin being charged with involuntary manslaughter and what that really means to him. Hello, Rob.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming on this early morning. We're glad to have you.
Good to be here.
So what happens with Alec Baldwin? He's charged with involuntary manslaughter. What is that? First of all, what does that mean?
You know, in New Mexico, involuntary manslaughter, there are a couple of charges they're considering with him. One is a lesser degree charge that carries an 18-month sentence with it, and that's if they can prove that he acted in a manner without due caution and circumspection is what the statute said. And I've heard that described by some New Mexico lawyers as a little above negligence, that he didn't do basic gun safety, which is what the district attorney said yesterday. The other charge is also the involuntary manslaughter, but they're putting a gun enhancer 5-year prison sentence attached to it, meaning involuntary manslaughter, if committed with a firearm, has a firearm enhancement of a 5-year sentence. I don't think he's likely to serve any time here because of what happened with their first assistant director, David Halls, who's already pled in this case, and he's not getting any jail time. But that's what he's facing at the moment.
Is there a reason why the gun tax on the extra 5 years? Forgive my ignorance, but if you accidentally kill somebody, it seems like you accidentally kill them as the gun just to try to deter people from doing something stupid with a gun down the road?
I think that's pretty much it. I mean, you see these kind of enhancements in states across the country, and there'll be, enhancements, with a deadly weapon, and so sometimes it's not just the gun, but it, can be a whole lot of different tools that are used in the commission of a homicide. He goes to court. Does he actually have to be there, or can his lawyer just show up and plead his case for him? What it looked like, the New Mexico District Attorney, Mary Carmack Altuiz, said yesterday was that he doesn't have to appear to be arrested at this point. He can show up at the first court setting. So they're giving him, I don't think they're taking this out of the norm, but they're giving him time to get together and then come down for his first hearing. So he'll show up at the first hearing when some citations are being issued according to their procedure in New Mexico.
Attorney Rob Crain is with us. We're talking about Alec Baldwin being charged with involuntary manslaughter. I'm curious, Rob, do you think there's any part of this that might be just he's a celebrity and so we're going to charge him and this could make our bones as prosecutors? There's always, this is a DA, they run for political office, so there's always political thought behind things. I mean, we're not going to be naive about that. This is unprecedented to have more than one person charged in the shooting on a set. You remember the actor Bruce Lee, his son, Brandon Lee, died on the set of a movie, The Crow, in the final scenes from a firearm that discharged similar to what happened here. And there was an individual that was charged with a crime for that incident. So it's not unprecedented to have these criminal charges. And what the DA was saying yesterday was that, look, this set did not involve just basic gun safety. Alec Baldwin didn't bother to check the gun to see if it had a live round in it before pointing and firing in the direction of two individuals, one of whom was killed and the other one who was injured. And so the emphasis in the press conference, and again, we're talking about an elected official here, but the emphasis was, look, this is about basic safety here, and this set had a number of incidents prior to this shooting involving gun safety, and that the egregiousness of all of the conduct was such that it required not just a charge against Alec Baldwin, but also their armorer, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, was also charged yesterday.
When we asked this question this morning, why was there a live round in this gun? Is that a question that is being asked as this case goes forward?
Absolutely. There was some practice firearm, just people shooting on the side of the set. With live rounds. There's a lawsuit going on now from the armorer who I just mentioned, suing a company that brought the ammunition to the site and putting live rounds with that other ammunition. That is a big emphasis here. There is no business having any kind of live ammunition on a movie set where that's the last thing you want flying around is live ammunition.
So how do you think this is going to turn out?
Again, we've got a little bit of precedent in this case because David Hall is the assistant director I mentioned. He's the one who handed the gun to Alec Baldwin and told him that it was cold, meaning that there were no live rounds in it. And a lot of emphasis was placed on him initially, and he's already pled to a misdemeanor charge of negligent use of a deadly weapon. It hadn't been yet approved, but it looks like he's going to have a suspended jail sentence, meaning he's not going to jail and serving 6 months probation. I think yesterday was a big part of what we see here. We'll see how it all plays out. They may push for jail time. I think a lot of this is going to depend on Alec Baldwin and whether or not he really wants to fight this. I think he'll be able to get a favorable plea deal if he wants one, but if he just wants to be totally exonerated, he's the one who's going to push it toward a trial, if anyone, is my guess.
Yeah, he's already out there saying this is a miscarriage of justice, so I imagine he's going to want his name cleared.
Yeah, and look, I'm not a PR person. I'm a lawyer. And he's made statements that he didn't pull the trigger in this case. The gun just went off. The FBI tested this gun and said, all of our testing, this gun never went off unless the trigger was pulled. And, this is where you rely on your lawyers. There are reasons for our system is set up the way it is, and it's a good system. It's not perfect. But he needs to rely on his lawyers right now and take this seriously and have good character in response to a mistake. That's the biggest thing I see in my practice. Who are those people after a mistake is made? They say the right things, they do the right things, and hopefully he'll take some guidance from a good lawyer.
Attorney Rob Crain, thank you, Rob. Appreciate it.
Anytime, guys.
All right, we'll talk to you again.